2, 1. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thanks for having me.
Dude, thank you for taking the time, man. Yeah, so how did you meet Kaylee? Does she help you with like the marketing stuff or?
A buddy of mine was doing some marketing stuff with her and everything, and I like the videos, and I have a bunch of plans in motion and everything, and I'm like, I need someone like this. I need someone doing everything for me, doing my edits and all that stuff. They've been telling me for a while now, so I said screw it. I hit her up.
Yeah.
And she's cool as hell, man.
Yeah, she's dope.
Good people.
No, yeah, she's dope, dude. And so shout out to her for making this happen, putting us in contact together. Before we get into, because like I said before, I would love to hear about your history with fighting and doing MMA. You did bare knuckle boxing. That's bananas to me. That's absolutely awesome. I want pour a drink.
Yeah, let's get one.
All right. And so how long? So where did MMA start for you?
Honestly, it just was. It was a kind of a new thing for me, for the sport. It was back in 2015. Diego Sanchez was going on the Ultimate Fighter. I knew him in high school and stuff, and a bunch of other guys. And I heard they were training, and I'm like, man, these guys were a bunch of pussies in high school. We had to go help them in fights and stuff, and I'm like, this guy Randy, he's fighting one weekend. It was December 10th, 2005. It was my first fight actually, but go back a few days. I'm like, I want to meet your coach. And he's like, yeah, come into the gym, dude. I'm fighting this weekend. I'm like, cool.
And how long ago was this?
This was in 2005.
Okay.
And I went in there and I practiced with them, and the coach was like, hey, you want to fight this weekend? I was like, fuck yeah, I'm in. I loved fighting, so that's how it started. Never had any background in martial arts, just boxing and wrestling.
Okay, so I was going to say, like, did you do any like martial arts in middle school or high school or?
I never had the. My dad worked all the time, so he was football. He played football. I was a star athlete in football, and got to high school. Coaches were like, "You got to wrestle. If you're gonna stay on varsity." I was on varsity as a freshman. They're like, "You have to wrestle." I'm like, that's fucking gay. I'm not gonna wear a singlet, dude. I can't do that. I'm like,
well, what was the mindset behind that? Like, why did they push that so
hard? Discipline. It was hard ass work every day, and they wanted the discipline. They wanted you to stay in shape. And it's just that one-on-one type of thing. So you just got to learn it, and it helped a lot in football. So yeah, I'm glad they did it. Even more important, it turned into my future later on in the years.
Well, first of all, cheers. Again,
cheers.
Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Well, that's an interesting thought process because, again, to people who, like, admittedly like myself, who aren't really well-versed in sports and athletics, you know, you kind of see those two different camps as like, okay, football's a team sport. Martial arts is very much a one-on-one sport, like you just said. They have no business coming together. But the coach having that foresight and saying, well, yeah, we have a whole team to coach here. Yeah, we have our defensive coaches, our offensive coaches, D-line, whatever it is. But what wrestling can offer you with that one-on-one, not only going on one-on-one with someone, but you can be one-on-one with that coach, putting that discipline in. So you didn't end up doing wrestling at all? I
did it freshman and sophomore year.
Okay.
That was the end of football and wrestling. So, I started fighting people at school and all kinds of shit. So, that was the end of my career for wrestling and football.
And so, flash forward to 2005, and you end up meeting that coach, get that fight. What was that first fight like in that weekend?
It was badass, man.
And it was boxing.
No, it was MMA.
No, it was MMA. Okay.
Yeah, strictly MMA. Everybody was tripping out on me. I was just sitting in the back, chilling, no warm up. I don't warm up before fights. I take naps. My saying always, it was later on down the road, but my saying was like, does a lion stretch before he goes hunting? You know, he's like, I guess he kind of prowls around and shit, but I don't know. It was ice in my veins. I was cool, calm and collected, and then you hit into the cage and hit a switch, and it's go time. So I was sitting there wrapping my hands, and the guy Randy, he's like, "What the fuck? Aren't you nervous?" Nah, man, this is gonna be fun. This is cool. You know, there's worse things on the streets, especially here in Albuquerque. You know, so a fight turns into a gunfight.
Yeah,
it's no good.
So yeah, that's what I was gonna ask too. Is so when you're sitting there, you're getting wrapped up for that first fight. You weren't nervous. You were looking at that as like, this is going to be a recreational thing. This is going to be something fun to do.
Yeah.
Did you ever, even after, like the moments after that fight, the week after that fight, did you ever look at that and think, I'm going to make something out of this?
Yes and no. I loved it, and I still did to the end of my days. I just did it because I loved it. I was fortunate enough to make a career out of it, and a decent career out of it, but I didn't see myself at the time going as far as I did.
Okay.
So it just was one thing after another, but I was hooked after that.
And do you feel like that the lack of vision for that, was that just because you didn't know a whole lot about the industry, or you were so brand new to it, or?
Well, everyone always wanted me to box, but boxing is full of fucking politics. That's why I tell you I don't want to talk about politics really, but in sports too, it's all fucking politics, no matter what. So MMA was a new thing at the time, and I'm like, cool. There's nothing involved with this right now. Like, it's not even mainstream. It's growing, but I'm with it. I'm not going boxing. I'm not doing boxing.
And back then, the UFC wasn't what it is today by a long shot.
Oh, no, dude. I mean, there was some pay-per-views and stuff. It was like old school ones, you know, Hoist Gracie and Tito Ortiz and stuff like that. It was getting big.
Right.
But the politics weren't behind it yet. I already knew about the politics with boxing and everything like that because I knew like Johnny Tapia and Danny Romero and all them. So I knew the politics behind it. Then I wanted to do the opposite.
Okay. No, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, you hear about how, especially today in boxing, I mean, to my limited knowledge of it, people they sign up for the fight once they get that amount of fame because they know the money's there.
Yeah.
They could care less about actually winning. It's, okay, I've signed the contract. I just have to step foot in the ring.
Yeah.
I've now made $10, $15 million
Yep.
just for showing up.
Yep.
So you go through that first fight, and so did you continue training? Did you keep picking up fights? Did you leave it alone for a bit? What was that like afterwards?
No, so I could backpedal a little bit with this. I went to jail for a while. Like I was a fuck up from 16 to about 20. Like doing bad shit. I got kicked out of my house at 15. I was living on my own. That's why wrestling and football, that was a wrap at sophomore year. So I ended up getting kicked out of school for fighting and just doing shitty stuff during that whole time. Ended up going to jail for a while. Got out, fighting my charges, everything like that. And that's when I found fighting, and I found the gym, and I found the passion again for the gym because I had it in high school and like the first couple of years, and it saved my life. So from there, I was like, let's see what we could do.
The podcast is brought to you by one of our brand new sponsors, Bucked Up Nutrition. Look, it's no secret that I love going to the gym. Fitness and nutrition is a huge part of my life, and Bucked Up has partnered up with the podcast, help support it. I cannot be more excited. This is one of my favorite workouts. It's a high stimulant nootropic. I'm hitting PRs today, so I cannot wait to use this. The Banff Black by Bucked Up Nutrition. They've also got, as you can see, some awesome clothing here. With my t-shirts, I personally prefer the short logo here. Use our promo code at checkout, OKPod20, to get 20% off of awesome clothes, supplements, all their products here to include their stacks. That's OKPod20, another awesome stringer here for an additional discount at checkout.
So that's interesting, and I really want to dig into that a little bit because I think that's a message a lot of people need to hear, especially today. I don't know what it is, but they're in the mainstream media, in the culture of like our generation and younger, it's anything masculine is being absolutely crucified, and it's being seen as something like toxic. It's being seen as something that is a negative to society. Going to the gym, lifting weights, combat sports, anything where competition is involved and not everyone gets a participation trophy.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
being seen as something that is destroying society. And so, self-admittedly, coming from a violent background, what was that like as your training progressed, as your time in the gym progressed and your time in the cage progressed? Did you feel like that helping you mentally, helping you physically? Like, what was that transformation like, going from, because how long, if you don't mind me asking, how long did you spend in jail?
I was there for about 9 months.
Okay.
And I learned a lot in there, actually. Like, I'm not a piece of shit like most of these people. You know, a lot of women like deserve to be there. And for me, I was just like, it wasn't even really me. I kind of went in. I went in on self-defense charges, which all ended up getting dropped and everything. But I had other charges that got picked up from shit before.
Okay.
While I was in there, they just boom piled it all on me. I'm like, God damn. But I learned I'm just a different person. I'm not this piece of shit like these people, you know, like, they can all change. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I changed everything too. So
I was gonna say, did that give you a bit of like a wake up call, like
big time, dude?
like a refocusing, like, okay, when this phase of my life is over, I'm gonna get out and figure out what I have to do. Like, did you know it was fighting at that point, or was it like I just have to find something?
I didn't know it was that. I had my hands in business stuff, tow yards and stuff back then, scrap yards. I always liked business no matter what. So, but I knew once I got that feeling of I have a goal to hit now, and I have to push myself, and I'm not going to go in there and get my fucking ass beat. Like, it's just not going to happen, you know? I mean, I lost plenty of fights, but I didn't just get demolished, you know? It was just like that discipline and everything that you have to put into it. It's self-discipline. It's a mindset. It's different, and it kept me on a different path, you know? You go one way or the other. That's it.
Yeah, and see, and that's, unfortunately, at least from what I've read and what I've listened to, you know, unfortunately, with the way our prison system is set up, the way our criminal justice system is, it's tough to even say set up, because that assumes it functions properly.
Right.
People get, at different rates, obviously, people get institutionalized quick, and it becomes like this revolving door. And a story like yours where you get, okay, well, I'm not doing that again. I'm going to figure out what's next. That's a rarity nowadays.
Yeah.
Did you, when you were in jail, did you find that there were a lot of people like that were just like, well, I'm here, this is life now, regardless of why they were there or what their time was?
I was in a pod. It was called E7, Echo 7 was what they called it, and it was all people doing 10 plus years.
Feel free to continue. I'm just going to like check the cameras and stuff.
It was people going in for murder, all kinds of crazy bullshit. So I'm like, I'm nothing like these guys. I don't know how they're even stacking me up with this. It was crazy. So like, I'm not these people, but I got to change my life regardless.
Right, because you're still in the same situation.
Exactly.
So getting out of jail, you find fighting, and then you have that first fight. I'm assuming you did well because you kept doing it.
Yeah.
And then so following that, as your time in the gym, your time with training continues, like, as a person, do you feel like that really started like molding your character, molding the way you saw the world? Like, what was that like?
Absolutely. I realized right then and I mean, I knew before, but right then and there, I was a leader, and I was dragging everyone with me, like pushing them. I'm like, hey, I need to win this fight. I need you at the gym, and at the same time, it was helping them too, you know. So it showed me my capability of leadership skills at that point, how I can push other people too in order to push myself.
So did you find that you were building your own team around you, finding these people to really not only just push you and motivate you, but like you just said, you're doing the same thing for them? Absolutely. And so what was that? What were you looking for in people? What do you find? Because obviously now you're in your own small business. What does that mean when you're going out to build a team?
I mean, it's a brotherhood, you know, and we all just, we would beat each other's asses every day, dude. Like literally, like, what the fuck are we doing? We're hurting each other, but we were getting better, and we were building like that leather skin on each other, and next thing you knew, one guy's getting better, the other guy's getting better, and if someone else wasn't, then we're figuring it out, and we're seeing what we got to change. So.
Well, I mean, that's something that goes back to like biblical times. I mean, that's actually in the Bible, right? Iron sharpens iron, just like steel sharpens steel.
Yeah.
That's something that's, again, it's kind of getting lost in today's world, especially in the West.
Yeah.
So hearing a story like that, hearing experiences like that is super important. So how far into your beginning time of MMA did you find like, okay, this is something I'm going to do? Like, I'm not only am I good at this, I've won a few fights, and now people are starting to really see that I'm good at this. Was there a pivot moment?
There was. The whole time, my first 5-6 fights, I thought I was amateur back then because there wasn't really a commission or anything, and unless you're getting paid and whatnot. And a promoter hits me up, and he's like, "Hey man, I want you to fight for my title, and I'll pay you double for this." I'm like, "Pay me double? What? I'm not making anything. What are you talking about?" He's like, he kind of shut up for a minute. And
He was like 0 × 2 = 0.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, wait, there's money involved right now. I mean, I knew there's some. Yeah, fuck, I'm getting paid, and like the coach was taking all of our money. All of us were pro, and we didn't know it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, none of us knew.
So when did you find? So let's take a pause on getting with that promoter. When did you find out the coach was taking money?
That day.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's like, "I'm gonna pay you double," and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
How
And
long?
then I knew. I'm like, maybe I can do something with this.
How long into fighting was this? How many?
It was only like 6 months in.
Yeah.
But I was already on my 5th fight. I was fighting every month, and it really opened my eyes. And I'm like, well, for one, I can fight for a local belt. Like, I mean, they kind of were all Southwest and everything at the time.
And how old are you this time again?
At that time, I was 22.
Okay.
I was almost 22.
It's a young age to be learning business.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I had to.
Right. Well, you have to, but just to put this in perspective for people that are listening, like that's a very early age to have a concept of I'm making money, I am my own brand now. Like you don't really learn that in school. So to find out that someone's supposed to have your back is taking your wallet, that's got to be a bit of an eye opener.
Yeah, man, it was crazy because I'm a very I stick to my people, and that was a tough time for me. Because I'm like, what the fuck? So all of us found out, and we just did our own thing. We went and got our own gym. It was a little shit gym. But we thought it was badass, and we trained every day, every night. We did that for a while, but then I just started getting calls for bigger and bigger fights. I'm like, fuck, we need to really, really do the right thing and get with a better team and stuff.
So that first promoter gives you a call. What was the conditions around it? Where was it going to be? What kind of belt were you going for?
So it was in Socorro, New Mexico, at the Armory. And I don't know, maybe 1,000 people there, whatever, fight for his belt. It was called Desert Extreme back then. And that was the I guess the filler for King of the Cage. He was like a promoter for King of the Cage.
Okay.
So I knew that was my way in for King of the Cage because back then, King of the Cage, it was like Rampage Jackson. It was tons of guys in there that were in the UFC and everything too after the fact. They were all in there. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to do that next. I'm going to go and I'm going to win their belt. I set a goal and I got called. Go fight for them. I fought for them a long time. I ended up winning their 170-pound belt, 160-pound belt, and then eventually down the line, I went all the way down to 145, and I won that belt too.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what time span did that take place in? That's a huge, forgive people that are uninitiated, that's a huge weight cut.
Yeah. But that came with the years. That was probably like a 5-year span. Like, I wasn't in the greatest shape when I first started. You know, I just came off of, like, partying all the time at jail, then to jail, and, like, eating bologna sandwiches and bullshit, you know? So, I wasn't lean. I didn't know how to diet. I didn't know any of that stuff. So I started learning it. I ended up going to Fit NHB. I don't know if you guys know that, but that's where Carlos Condit and Timmy Means, they're all UFC guys. They were there at the time. And because I didn't want to go to Jackson's at the time, because Jackson's it still is the name, you know.
Was it like an intimidation of the brand? Was it who was going there to train?
Back then, 2000, it was maybe like 2006, 2007, I think it was. But everyone was wearing tap-out shirts and said they trained at Jackson's because they knew who Diego Sanchez is, and he's at Jackson's. I'm like, God, these guys are fucking posers. Like, fuck this, dude. I'm not going over there.
The podcast is brought to you today by OrganicPriceBooks.com. I love comic books. That is absolutely no secret to any of my friends, family, or listeners. And right here is just some of the comics that I have either bought or gotten sent to me by the fine folks over at Organic Price Books. As you can tell, they have a wide selection from DC, Independent, Marvel, and they have become the #1 spot for everything omnibus, oversized hardcover, or just general collected editions. No matter what you want, they've got it. Go to their website and at checkout, use our promo code, just my name, Noah, Noah, to get additional discounts on top of what they already offer, which ranges anywhere from 30 to 50% off. OrganicPriceBooks.com, use my promo code, Noah, Noah, and start reading comics today.
Because, like, Diego, I knew a bunch of those guys. They wanted me to go over there. I went over there and trained with them a little bit. They wanted me to, I'm like, nah, I can't do it. Can't fucking do it, dude. So I ended up going to Fit. And, you know, they had programs, everything. They didn't necessarily teach me, like, nutrition or anything, but I knew I had to eat well. And my body started changing. Like, back then I was fucking ripped. Like, I was just, like, 2% body fat. Ripped. It was crazy. And I just kept going down. Like, I was just lean and mean. Like, that was it. I wanted to go in for the kill all the time. So I started at 185. Never, ever cut weight. Like, I was under 185 all the time.
So that's where you just were walking around at?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was getting too low, fighting at 185. So I was like in mid-70s. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to 70s. And I did 70s for a while. And then there's fucking Carlos Condit and Timmy Means, and they're 6'3", big fucking. They're big dudes, actually. I don't know if you've seen them in person, but they're
not in person. But I know who Carlos Condit is.
Yeah.
I haven't heard the other guy's name, but yeah, those are pretty big guys.
Yeah, they're big, and I'm like, God, I can't. I'm 6 foot, but I'm not 6'3", and I'm not ripped yet, and I don't have this extra 6-inch reach like they do, because I was sparring with Carlos and it was just trouble. So I'm like, I gotta go lower.
So what was your first fight out of NHB?
So I actually ended up when I was on my own. I did a tournament that they throw. It's called Fight World. They're still around here, local and everything too. Did a tournament for them. And ended up fighting one of their guys. And, gosh, I don't remember the first fight with him, honestly. Because I was doing King of the Cage already just by myself. Like, because the promoter for Desert Extreme was like, hey, let's go fight in California. Hey,
right, yeah. So, yeah, let's actually wrap that up. Right, so you fight at Desert Extreme. You do well there, obviously. And then you move on to King of the Cage. So what was that progression like? Was NHB involved? Were you training there yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
So NHB didn't really affiliate with him. Like, they had bad terms with each other and everything. They had done stuff with each other. And I ended up hooking up Tom Vaughn with King of the Cage once I moved over there. Gosh, damn, I can't remember the first fight I had with him. But I was probably like 10 deep at least. 10,
Okay.
12 deep. And I'm like, hey, man, I fight for King of the Cage right now. Like, I'm not on a contract, like, so I don't have to completely fight with them, but I would like to. And he's like, I don't deal with them. But, like, they're good people. They're taking care of us.
Yeah, what was your experience like with them? Like, how many fights did you have with that organization? A lot?
I had a lot with them.
Yeah.
Like, they loved me. And because I would fight anywhere, anytime, anybody. Didn't matter. I just wanted to fight. I was literally fighting once or twice a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. I don't know what's recorded and whatnot, but there's probably got to be at least 60 fights that are recorded on there, but I have well over 100 fights.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So they loved me. I ended up winning there when I went down to 145. I ended up winning that belt. There was a guy named Joe Boxer.
Can you see if you could try to find any of the highlights from his King of the Cage fights?
What are you gonna show?
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I don't know what's on there, man. So probably all shit fights. I never self-promoted like YouTube and stuff like that. Everyone always told me you need to. So.
Well, because I mean, back then, again, the UFC wasn't a huge brand. There was like King of the Cage, but it wasn't this huge behemoth of a I don't know, like a sport. Like, really, like, it was a sport back then, but it wasn't like this multi-billion-dollar franchise that was selling out arenas across the country. They certainly didn't have like Abu Dhabi yet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was something huge back then. So who would have thought that would have been that would have been the thing?
Yeah, I didn't realize how big it was until I went overseas.
Oh, where was your first fight overseas?
Japan. I fought at the Tokyo Dome. 110,000 people.
Holy shit. Yeah. So walk me through that. What was the process from you talk to a promoter to you're in the cage? What was that like?
So Tom, that picture right there, that's Tom and Arlene. They're fit in HB. Those were my main coaches for many years. He had his connection out there. King of the Cage was always connected with him. He was connected after all that. Look how young and small that was, dude.
So what year do you think this is?
Shit. That was 12, 13 years ago at least.
Damn. Is that Herb Dean?
Yeah, Herb Dean, look at that.
That's funny.
Yeah, Herb used to love me. But they had the connections in Japan and everything. And at that time, there was a world ranking system. It wasn't just this bullshit, all the UFC fighters are ranked 1 through 10. No, it was fully ranked. And I fought the number one guy in the world. His name was Hatsu Hayuki.
Yeah.
He was number one in the world at the time.
So at that time, they're ranking together like UFC, Bellator, Pride, everything.
It was full out rankings.
No shit.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm fighting him. It was like 10 days notice, and I got to fly across the world and go fight. And I'm like, I'm in. Fuck yeah.
And what organization was that under?
So that was Shuto.
Okay.
So it was, they were like with Dream back in the day. It was Pride before UFC bought them out and everything like that. So,
okay.
Yeah. But then I realized, like, the people over there, they respect you. They clap for you. Like, they are knowledgeable about the sport. A different position. Here, you're at a fight, and they're like, fuck him up. Knee him. Elbow him. Like,
right.
These dudes are like, you're reversing something, and they're clapping. They're like, oh, that's good. You know, they're not like...
That's what I've heard. I've heard the crowds are, like, next to silent during the fight. And then when, again, something... technical is done, when a good strategic move is made, that's when you hear clapping. You don't hear screaming, you hear.
Yep. And you're like a superstar out there too. Like, you have it here too, but there's the superstars here. But every single fighter out there, they treat you well. They treat you
Well, and again, I think that goes back to respect for the sport.
Yep.
Because, I mean, again, my utmost respect to anybody who steps in the octagon, steps in a ring, because again, at the end of the day, you're putting your life on the line, potentially speaking.
Yeah.
And I only started watching UFC right when the pandemic kicked off. That's when I really got into it, and not that I'm knowledgeable to any extent, but watching these guys doing what you guys do, like that, it's mind-boggling to me that. Because again, the most experience I've ever had is I was a part of the boxing team in my senior year of high school going into my freshman year of college. But I never fought. I just sparred and I got really good shape. That's what stuck me around was I got into phenomenal shape. So that's why I find that interesting is again, like you said, here people want to see blood. They want to see violence. They want to see the big knockout, the split open eye or the busted up cheek or whatever it is. But over there, they respect the fighter. They respect the sport.
Yep.
What was that energy like? Because you're so used to the screaming and the yelling and all that. So changing over to that, did you feel like that affected you at all? Or was that just wow, this is similar but different?
It opened up my eyes to a lot. And there was more money out there too. They're not Don King everybody like Dana White is.
Right.
Dana White's worse than fucking Don King, bro. So they were actually paying the fighters good and taking care of them, and the people wanted to hug you and take pictures with you and everything like that. Everybody here is like, oh, I could fuck that dude up. Like the casual fan would say that to the fighter and everything, not every dude. But.
Which is, no, I know a couple people that are like that. They'll watch you guys and I'm just sitting there I promise you can.
Yeah.
I can, because we're watching him on TV, watching him fight, and you're sitting here drinking a beer, eating Cheetos. I can almost guarantee you can't fuck him up.
Yeah, dude. So, it changed after that, it changed everything for me. My mindset, the things I needed to change. It brought in I don't know, a more spiritually type of thing for me, to put my mind to other places and what I gotta do. And the power of your mind and everything, that's what it brought to me.
No shit.
Yeah, it was crazy. So that's when it really fucking...
So do you feel like that fight was one of the major turning points in your career?
It was.
There's more to this than just what I've been learning, what I've been training. There's a what was that spiritual side like for you?
It just, it showed, I already had a push in me. I could push myself to a certain point. But once it showed me mentally that I could push even further, your mind can fucking push your body even further. Your body will give out before, you know what I mean?
Right.
If it needs to. So it's I don't know, it's kind of like a military thing too, I guess. Mentally, just do it.
Right.
That's it.
So, and you mentioned this a little bit earlier, and this is the topic of huge debate right now in this arena. Whether or not fighters are getting paid enough, whether or not they should have a union, whether or not benefits. Because again, the way that I understand it is that with the UFC, they are contracted to be with them, and they work as independent, again, independent contractors. Mm-hmm. But they can't break their contract. They can't, once the contract is up, they can't fight in other organizations, or can they?
If it's up, you can, but unless they say they're going to try to renegotiate.
Okay.
So, and they kind of have you by your balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. At that time when I went, I was on the radar, and they offered me $10,000 to fight and $10,000 to win. And I'm like, what? I thought these dudes are making millions.
Right.
And that's what opened my eyes to I never wanted to be in the UFC again after that. I went on to the Ultimate Fighter. I made it to the final casting, and the contract was bullshit.
So what was your experience on the Ultimate Fighter like? That's interesting.
So I didn't go on the actual show.
Okay.
I did all the casting calls and everything like that.
Oh, okay.
I made it through all the thousands of people to the final 25. Like I could have been in the house.
Yeah.
Then I saw the contracts, and then they wanted me to fucking script it and all kinds of shit. Like, yeah.
Damn it, man, I love that show. Ruined it.
Yeah, bro. Like, I'm not doing that. I just want to fight. And they're like, we don't give a fuck what your record is, how many people you beat up, knocked out. Like, if you don't have... I mean, Conor McGregor is a perfect example. Like, he's just...
Well, he...
talks.
Yeah, exactly. He was really... I think he realized early on that he had skill, but to have longevity, he needed to be a personality and he needed to be marketable. Mm-hmm. And even after when he fought Poirier and broke his ankle or the lower part of his leg, when that happened, he's still going to be a very marketable fighter. Mm-hmm. And that'll be, what, a year and a half? Almost 2 years now since that happened?
Yeah. Right?
So he'll still get one of the top contracts of the UFC in that fiscal year, without a doubt, because they know he's marketable. Mm-hmm. What was the contract like that they had offered you to be on the show?
You win the show, they say you win $100,000, but it's a 4-fight contract for $100,000. You've got to fight 4 fights for that $100,000. You don't get $100,000.
Like right off the gate.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, bro. And I was like, first of all, I just want to fight. I don't care about who fucking pissed in whose Cheerios or in whatever. Like,
They want to create a reality show out of it.
Yeah, I get it now. Like, I promote myself a little more now because of business and everything. But back then, I didn't give a fuck. I just wanted to fight. That's all I wanted to do. So, I wasn't down for that. And it showed me the way the sport was going. So I wanted to be elsewhere. I wanted to be out of the country.
So where did you go after that once you ended up turning down that?
So I started fighting up in Canada a lot, which was kind of Americanized to North America. And then I went all around Asia. I fought down in Singapore. I fought Kawajiri, and he had just literally fought Eddie Alvarez with like a fucking crazy banger. And I'm like, fuck yeah, this dude's gonna bang with me. It's gonna be cool. And nope, he wrestled me. And
who was this?
Tatsuya Kawajiri.
Can you try to spell that?
He TATSUA, and then Kawajiri, KAWAJIRI, I think.
RI.
That's it, right there, RI. There he is, right there. There's Wikipedia. Yeah, but he had just fought Eddie Alvarez right before me, and in Bellator, and it was a fucking banger. So I thought he was gonna just bang with me. Oh no, it wasn't. He didn't fight in. It wasn't Bellator. He fought in the Pride Grand Finals. It was the final fight.
And were you when you ended up fighting him? Were you guys in Pride?
No, it was called ONE FC. There was. They're huge. They're absolute. They have more money than the UFC.
ONE FC.
It's called ONE FC.
Oh shit.
And they're in Asia, all around Asia. They're fucking huge. Yeah, there it is. They're really big out there. Like, that's where Demetrius Johnson and all them went.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they're actually taking care of the fighters, making real money.
So you end up fighting him and turned into a wrestling match.
Yeah, dude.
How did that go?
He ended up catching me in a triangle choke. Fucking pissed, dude, but whatever.
So taking that kind of loss, what did you end up learning from that once all the dust had settled?
From that was 7 days notice. Once again, they always called me last minute because they knew I'm down. I'm always down no matter what. I realized, fuck, I probably need at least a couple weeks, three weeks before. I always stayed ready no matter what. I was ready. But going out of the country, jet lag, like, they're setting me up probably to lose anyways. So you get 1 day to recoup, 1 day to cut weight, and then you're fighting the next day.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. So But I was down. I didn't care.
So what?
I knew the risk.
Because I noticed you're saying a lot about how you were just ready. Like whenever they asked, you were there. What was your longest training period or training camp for?
For a fight?
Yeah.
Or like
At
just
any period during your martial arts career.
I mean, towards the end, they got longer and longer. You know, a month, 2 months. I went through some injuries too, so I didn't ever take too much time off though. Like I fractured my spine, and they told me I'd be out for 8 months, and I was only out for like 7 weeks. Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah. Like,
how did you rehab that? What was that like?
So I have this alternative health doctor. I don't know what, like, most people don't believe in and everything, but he did a lot of shit for me, and it
was like stem cells.
I mean, now he does stem cells, and back then he didn't. I was eating fucking bone meal in my protein shakes, and he had me eating sardines, like the little bones in the sardines and stuff. He said it'll help your bones grow and heal faster. Like that, I swear to God, I ate fucking sardines every day, 3 times a day for 7 weeks, dude. I was in a brace and everything. And then I'm like, fuck, I feel good.
Was this in the States?
Yeah, it was here.
No shit.
He's here in town. He's local.
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude, the dude he's a fucking genius. I tore my knee, my LCL, MCL, meniscus. They were supposed to do surgery. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. Went to him, did all kinds of vitamins and put me through rehab, everything. Like, it worked, dude. He had me doing tons of brain stuff because obviously I was getting hit in the fucking head every day.
Yeah.
Every day. For cognitive function, everything like that. And I think as many fights as I have and how many years I train, I'm not punch drunk.
Did you? Well, yeah, that's honestly, that's something very clear. Is like you articulate yourself very well. You're well spoken. Like, and that's not what a lot of fighters say for themselves, unfortunately.
Yeah.
When you were going through all this type of therapy, and how do you move now? Like, are you
Excellent?
Yeah, you're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little overweight than what I was used to, but I mean, I'll never let myself get past a certain point now.
Right.
Because I hadn't fought in 3+ years since this last bare knuckle fight.
Because that happened 2-3 months ago?
Yeah, it was like 3 months ago.
Okay.
It was in August. And I got fucking fat and lazy, and I felt like shitty. I was still working out in the gym, just lifting heavy weights, everything like that. But I was just like fucking fat. Like, I went snowboarding the winter before, and I was so fucking tired, dude. I couldn't. Every time I fall down. Yeah. So I'm falling down, and my fucking button pops off my pants. I rip my pants, dude. And I'm like, this is enough. Fuck this. I never had any intentions of ever fighting again.
So how long before you got to your bare knuckle fight? So where did your martial arts career temporarily? Now we know it's temporary. Where did it temporarily end?
So, I mean, gosh, what year was it? I was fighting in Russia. I had a contract it was called ACB. I don't even know if they're ACB anymore. ACA. They probably have more money than the UFC too, honestly. I had a contract with them. Gosh, what year was it? 2015, 2016. And, fuck, I don't even know if I should be saying this because I have a lawsuit going on right now.
Yeah, feel free to.
Nah, I don't care. Fuck them. I just won't say any names, but the security guards misplaced me for someone and handcuffed me, beat the fuck out of me, ripped my shoulder out of place, everything like that.
Oh shit! And when did this happen in Russia? Like, was this during?
No, it was here.
Oh, okay.
Here in town locally. So that's why I'm saying I don't know what I can say because there's a big lawsuit going on. But it ripped my shoulder out, fucked me up, and I took a couple months off, I think, and I'm like, nope, this ain't the end of me. Fuck that. I still gotta go. I have lots of years left in me. And it was just, that was the end of it. I didn't have the love for the training. I was hurting. That's when I started doing stem cell and everything too. It helped because it like tore my bicep and partial chest, and then my labrum, which my labrum supposedly never will heal.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you had to go. Okay, go ahead.
I just couldn't do strength and conditioning the right way. Like this side it's still to this day, it gets tired as fuck. Like way quicker than my right hand does. It's my left shoulder. So I'm like, fuck, I'm done. MMA's done. Like I have to be able to twist my shoulder. I have to be able to get out of certain shit. I have to hold on certain ways, everything like that. It's close towards the end of my career. I'll make some real money. Let's box. So I went to boxing the last few years.
So
like that.
As that end of the career started coming about, you mentioned that you kind of lost the love for the training, lost love for, because you were staying in. It's very challenging to stay in good shape consistently.
Yeah.
People really don't have an appreciation, I think. And that's just because of like the way that the American diet has become and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. But what do you think started? Was it a drastic like, okay, I don't like this anymore, or was it like a slow burn effect? Like, okay, this isn't. I love my workout except for this movement. Okay, now it's 2 movements. Now I don't like doing this drill. Now I don't like doing this striking. Like, do you feel like it was more of that?
Yeah, it was definitely like I couldn't do certain things to the capability that I wanted to and that I knew I could. I would still push myself. So far that it probably wasn't as good as it should have been, But I just like if the fights went past a couple rounds and stuff, I didn't have the stamina that I had just in this one arm. It was weird. But it made me realize, like, yeah, I'm probably getting there. I'm getting close. Like, I already have 100 fucking fights, so fuck it. Like,
and that's starting to affect your mindset, I imagine, too, right?
Dude, my mindset, like,
yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Am I becoming a pussy now? Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know about that. I don't know, man.
But people don't understand that, man. Like, the argument that the other side is saying, like you were too old and this and that, and you were on losing streak. I'm like, well, yeah, because I tried after the fact and I lost.
Right, so. After, yeah.
But it was mental. It was a lot of mental, and they don't understand that.
So because like at the height of your career, where was your mindset at? Did you feel like you were just the invincible man?
I could fuck anybody up anytime.
Because one of those YouTube titles, like,
yeah.
I eat people's hearts. Was that the mindset?
Oh man, yeah, kind of. It's just like he's coming to kill me, and I mean not kill. It's a safe sport. It's a pretty safe sport for the most part, but he's coming to hurt me.
Right? No, they're coming to do you damage until the ref says stop.
Yes, absolutely.
That's not to be underestimated.
It's not at all, and I just had so many fucking fights, and then I lost that. Like, I was just in there because it was a sport, and this ain't a fucking sport. It's a sport, but
it's a lifestyle. It's a
combat.
Yeah, it's like the last bastion of true, like outside of war. Like, this is like the last bastion, like masculinity, warrior. Like this, like people like you, hundreds of years ago would be in the Coliseum.
Yeah,
like that's what this is. And then I'd be in the stands with my, biblical popcorn, going fuck him up.
yeah, man. But I lost the. I just. It was another day for me. It's just a sport. And at that point, I was just like trying to avoid damage.
Yeah.
And just getting by, I guess I could say. And that's when I knew it. Like, time.
Do you feel like it was slowly becoming a paycheck? It was slowly becoming like, this is how I make money now. This is how I...
No, I mean, I invested my money very well throughout the years and everything like that.
Which is another rarity for any athlete, whether
Yeah.
you're a fighter, NBA player, NFL, like...
Right.
Because what is it, like 80% of NBA players go broke after 5 years?
Dude, I mean, look at Mike Tyson. 30 million, fucking had nothing, bankrupt after that, you know, like, it's crazy. But I grew up, like, my dad was a hard-ass worker. My mom was an addict, so I could kind of do whatever the hell I wanted as a kid because my dad was always working, and then my mom was just in her own world.
That was here in Albuquerque.
So, here in Albuquerque, yeah. So I had to learn the value of dollar, and like my dad wasn't going to give a shit. Like, he's paying the bills, he puts the clothes on our back, everything like that. Anything else? No, but we had chores on the weekends when he's there. We had to make sure all that shit's done because we live in his house. So I had to learn to like hustle, go mow lawns. Like, there used to be grass back then. There ain't grass anywhere, you know what I mean? So I would mow lawns. I would have fucking Kool-Aid stands and candy sales, all kinds of stuff. Like, so I knew how to stack my money up and spend it and invest it into other things and start.
So being an entrepreneur has just been in your blood since, since day one, it sounds like.
Yeah, man. Probably since I was 10, I think that I remember start doing that stuff already.
Well, I mean, so take that, mixed it with what you talked about when you were growing up. I mean, fighting is the clear route, and you did quite well. I mean, how many guys just stay local, do their local fights, and all the respect to them, because again, they're still putting their body on the line, but they don't make those. It sounds like the way I'm digesting your story is you make conscious decisions. Say, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make something out of it. Yeah. I'm not going to just put my body on the line to make ends meet, where I could be literally anywhere else making the same amount, if not more.
Yeah, well, and I also wanted to be one of the best in the world at the time too. So I had those opportunities to be up 1, 2, 3 at the time. You know, I think the highest I was on those world rankings was like 23 or something like that. But there's thousands of fighters, you know, and even those thousands of fighters, they're amongst a few percentage of people.
It's like a 2% of people will ever do that.
So I would say that's fucking
it's pretty damn good. Yeah.
So
do you ever?
Third most dangerous man, you could say.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. My ears saved me a lot of trouble now. I got the cauliflower ear and stuff, but here in Albuquerque, because other than that, I just look like other than my tattoos, but everyone has tattoos now. I kind of look like a pretty white boy, so to speak, you know. And you guys know how Albuquerque is, bro.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
So, like, if they can't see when you're, I kind of make sure and turn, you know. It saves me a lot of trouble now.
Well,
dude.
I'm sure. And it's sad now because with the way Albuquerque's has been, I mean, since, again, because I'm only 25, I've been here my entire life, but just growing up here, it's only getting worse.
Yeah.
There isn't street fights anymore. Mm-mm. It's just people shoot.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And unfortunately, with the way things are going, like, just politics aside, just the culture, that's the way it's going to stay. Which is really unfortunate. Because people just feel like, well, there's either, whether it's out of desperation where I'm out of money, or it's just a mental health issue, whether it's just a culture of violence issue, there will continue to be, like, I mean, I legitimately can't remember the last night that I went to sleep, especially like I moved to this part of town. I used to live like maybe 10 minutes down that way, and I moved up here. I mean, I can't remember the last night I went to bed when there wasn't gunshots.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a regular thing. And it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's never going to change.
It's not. We're the mini LA. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's the mini LA. They literally say that. Like, it's pretty bad here.
Yeah, it's bad, and it's only going to get worse, unfortunately, due to recent election stuff. But when you came out of your years in fighting in 2016, what happened in the interim, and then what brought you back to doing the? I mean, you didn't just come back to fighting. You did bare knuckle boxing.
Oh man. Yeah.
Not that there's a whole lot of like. At least maybe this is an ignorant statement, but like, because what the MMA gloves are only what 3.5, 4 ounces, right?
4 ounces,
They're 4 ounces, so you only have that thin line of padding over your hands anyway. But then also with MMA, you're taking elbows, you're taking knees, you're taking kicks.
Yep.
So, but at least with bare knuckle boxing, you're just sticking to your hands.
You are, but it's a lot of punches all at
Yeah.
once. And yeah.
So yeah, what happened in that interim, and then what brought you back?
So 2016, actually, then I said, fuck it, I'm going to box.
Okay.
Because I was good at boxing. And I had along the way of MMA, I had a few pro boxing matches too, just to stay busy at the time and everything, just to get, it was, at one point I was like on a 15 fight win streak and I couldn't get fights. Like, unless I signed with the OC and at a bullshit 10-10, which I wasn't going to do because it wasn't about money, but I wasn't going to sign my soul away. So I think I had like maybe 4 pro boxing fights at that time. And then I'm like, all right, well, I'm decent at boxing. I'm going to give it one last shot because I knew some good promoters and stuff like that. And they're like, all right, let's get you 4 or 5 fights. And if you get all knockouts, we'll get you signed with Top Rank. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm down. Boom, hit it. I get 4 knockouts. 5th one, I win by decision. They still signed me. And I actually fought this bad motherfucker. He's like on all the Canelo undercards, everything. He's like, I don't know, he's like 20-0 now. And he was on Jake Paul's very first pro fight.
What's his name?
The guy Jake Paul fought, or the guy I fought?
The guy you fought.
Austin Williams.
Austin?
They call him Austin Ammo Williams. He fucked me up.
Oh shit!
That right there showed me the difference of like someone that's been boxing. He was Olympic boxer, everything like that. And I don't even know what his record is now, but yeah, he just.
Yeah, it's all good. I just want to see what the guy looked like. No, you're good.
He's a big old red black dude, you know. And that, like, I knew I was good at boxing, but I wasn't an A-level boxer.
Yeah.
That was an A-level boxer, and he exposed me. So, I'm like, well, fuck, I can't go to the top of this. I was in the top of the, like, all Top Rank is the top, like, UFC here in America.
Right.
Top Rank is the big deal. I was signed with them. But then COVID hit, and then they just wanted to feed me to more guys like them, like 20-0, 18 knockouts. Like, I'll do it, but, like, I couldn't even train. There was no gyms open. Like, everybody was fucking scared of COVID. I just wanted to train. That was it, but everybody was fucking scared still. And I don't know how you feel about COVID, but I wasn't scared, so.
I mean, well, because I'll be honest, in the first like 3 months, I was like, all right, this could actually be something. Because I was trapped down in El Paso, and I was like, okay. And all we really had to go off of was the media and then the like the COVID tracker, right? And you're seeing these infection rates go up, and like, okay, because what we're all getting told is it's going to get real infectious, and then it'll be deadly.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing this like 4, 5, 600,000 millions now. In fact, like, okay, where's the death rate? The death rate's going to come, right? This is going to be, and then as time went on, and then Thanksgiving of 2020, I got COVID.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad for like 18 hours. Like I remember when I first figured out that I had COVID, I was playing video games with my buddies, and we're all like on a chat, and I had my dip in, and I lost the taste of the dip, like as it was in my mouth. And I was like, I had a cough for like a day and a half, and now I can't taste things, guys. I think I cracked open a Monster, like a green Monster, tasted like sparkling water.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, all right, here we go. This is COVID.
I got it.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, this is COVID. Yeah, it sucked for like 18 hours.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, okay, this is nonsense. I see what this is. This is another thing for the government to just do what governments do. Great. And then I think definitely hindsight is not 2020 because we see that just the overreaction of, especially here in New Mexico. We had some of the lowest infection rates. We had some of the highest lockdowns.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it was a bunch of nonsense, to be honest. Like, I know it affected a lot of people. I know it did kill a solid amount of people as well. But then, not to be callous, but when you look at the death rates of COVID and you take that demographic and you look at the amount of comorbidities, it's an average of 3.
Yeah.
And that's diabetes. The number one was being overweight. It was diabetes, it's heart problems, it's high blood pressure problems, it's autoimmune disorders. I mean, it's so many things where it's like, not that I'm assuming they were going to pass away anyway, but like they already weren't in a good spot.
Yeah.
And when the number one thing is obesity, like something that 99% of that demographic can control, it's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard to be like, we should have done all these lockdowns. We should have let all these small businesses close down. We should have let the schools shut down and set back kids. Like that, it's hard to justify all that. You know what I mean?
100% agree.
It's really, really tough to justify all that.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyway, so you end up doing the bare knuckle boxing fight about 3 months ago. How did you get contacted for that, and how did that go?
Well, one of the guys that works with me or for us, he was actually signed with them, and I went with him. I cornered him a couple times for his fights, and he was like, hey, they're coming here. He kept saying it. They were supposed to come here so many fucking times. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then the story about snowboarding, I was just disgusted with myself. So tired, bro. So I just I hit up the gym and I started losing weight. And the promoters were hitting me up because I'm a big seller here. I probably sell the most tickets here locally, like for any show. When Holly Holmes fought, I sold more than her. When she was at Route 66, we fought on the same card. And they kept hitting me up, and I'm like, fuck, no, I'm done. I've been done. I've been telling you guys this, I'm done. And my dumb ass go, and I'm like, I'm not losing enough weight. I need to push myself.
Oh, shit.
So I said, all right, fuck it. I'll fight. That's the only way I'm going to lose weight, dude. Fuck it, I'm in. And then Isaac, he's the one that works for me. He's like, they're not fucking calling me, dude. I'm signed with them, a multi-fight. They don't like me. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm not fighting unless Isaac fights too, because he's my main training partner right now. Like, he's with me every day. We're training and stuff, so they got him a match, and we just went to town, trained. I think I got like 10 weeks in. Actually, if you were asking earlier, my longest camp, that was probably it. Yeah. But I had a lot of fucking weight to lose. I was weighing 224, and I fought at 185.
Wow.
In 10 weeks, yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
But you got to think, I was used to fighting at 145 for the plenty years before that.
Right.
And then I went up like this. My drastic weight is fucking crazy.
So when you get down to that weight, right, you're still a little less than 40 pounds over than what you normally fight at. I'd imagine it felt good to have a lot more weight behind your punches.
Oh, I loved it at practice, sparring, everything like that. I probably could have gone lighter because I didn't cut any weight before the fight for the weigh-ins. I probably could have made like 75 if I really pushed it. But I mean, I guess I really did push it. But
That's a solid weight cut.
Yeah, and I felt really good. Like, I honestly, that made me reminisce and think back. Like, fuck, maybe I shouldn't have cut so much weight throughout my career. It's the only thing I want to teach like new fighters now. Don't cut so much weight. I was losing 10 pounds day of weigh-ins, like sweating out, killing myself.
Yeah.
Making 145, cutting more than like 10% of my body weight at the time. Like, it was crazy. 10, 12, 14, 15 pounds. this is stupid.
Well, and it's good you say that because there's, I mean, how many clips are there of like the Ultimate Fighting show or the Ultimate Fighter where, you know, they're literally dragging some guy into a sauna. Okay, good. They're dragging him and plopping him onto a bike, holding him up while he pedals. Or, oh, fuck, who was it? I think it was, I saw like a behind the scenes thing for, I think, Nunez, where she was doing a weight cut and they just had these hot towels all over her. She's like crying out in pain for hours on end. And it's like, yeah, you're literally killing yourself to sweat out this, to wring your body dry.
Yep.
Because, and for people who don't know about this, you know, these guys cut all their weight. They touch the scale long enough to be red. They get off and they just shove their mouth full of food. Like they'll weigh in. No, they'll weigh in at like 168 or 165, whatever it is, and then they'll step in the octagon at like 180.
Yeah, when I was fighting 145, I was almost 170 night of the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's no joke, dude. It's not a joke. It's real. Like, my best friend Nick, like, he lives in Texas. I would send him a picture every night after weigh-ins on the scale. And I'm like, how much you think I gained? 22 pounds. Fuck. 25 this time, dude. Look at this shit.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What would you eat right afterwards to get all that back?
Everything. Anything inside. You know you're not supposed to because you start fucking cramping.
Right.
And everything. Like,
Well, because your organs are going into shock.
Yeah, you're not even supposed to chug water or Gatorade or anything. You're supposed to sip it slowly and let it
Absorb and figure itself out.
And I know that. I fucking know that. But as soon as you step off that scale and you made weight, you're like, fucking pound it, eat everything, dude. I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. I think of it every time. But I just did it. Didn't care.
So you go and do the bare knuckle boxing. How did that turn out for you? And what was your feelings afterwards?
It was fun. I don't know, people call me crazy, whatever. I mean, I was cut up, but it hurt my fucking hands, dude.
Yeah.
My fucking hands were, God, dude.
And so honestly, that makes me think of something. So when you're fighting in that, are you having to angle and throw your punches differently as opposed to an MMA fight?
Way different, dude.
Yeah.
And you can't try to hit as hard either because it's little shots. Because if you go all the way through bare knuckle, it's not.
Do you tape your wrists for not eating that?
That's all you tape. You tape literally like two fingers down from your knuckles and down to your wrist, and that's it. Which is, I'm fine.
Right, that's better than nothing.
Yeah,
right?
if you squeeze my hand together right here, I was cool with that. I was totally fine with it, but it didn't help. Fuck, dude. This one's fucked up still. They said it was gonna be fine, but this one was like that big.
Jesus.
Oh, dude. This one I think I broke in like the first round. Yeah, it was fun, but my hands hurt. The punches, it felt the same as MMA. Like you said, elbows, knees, everything. I think MMA is kind of more dangerous, to be honest.
Because again, I've never been hit with an elbow, but that's like getting cut, right? Is all that is.
Oh yeah.
Is that how sharp the elbows become, especially with seasoned fighters.
Your elbows are the sharpest point in your body, and
Right.
your hardest bone too. I think, to be honest. And man, I had lots of cuts from elbows. So, I fought on the Bellator card here. There's actually a magazine. I was on the front of one of the magazines here. First fucking takes me down, one elbow, boom. First round, splits my eye all the way across, bleeding everywhere, dude. ABQ Sports or something like that. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, it happened. Fuck, what was the name of that magazine? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Well, so do you feel like coming out of that bare knuckle fight, are you going to do it again, or is that
No,
it?
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
100% done, dude. I kind of had I had nothing to prove, you know what I mean? But no, that's not it. That was dumb.
But yeah, that's the end of the line for you now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm done. I was done before that, but then I just kind of had to set a goal, and it was our first time coming here. They're one of the fastest growing sports in the world right now, bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah.
It's the first time coming here, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
So what's your training like now that you're
Just weightlifting.
just weightlifting?
No cardio at all, dude. I hate cardio now. I despise it. So, I mean, it's just all we do is lift. That's it.
Is there any, because this is something, as cliche as this is something I do want to close out on, is looking back on your career, are there any decisions you've made, things you did not do, or you're like, maybe if I did this turnout would have happened, or no, I didn't do this, even when people said I should do it, I'm glad I didn't. Like, are there those moments that you look back on?
You know, one thing that I did learn, loyalty only goes so far, because I was super loyal and it held me back a lot, like 2 different times. And then the only other thing I would have changed was the cutting weight. Other than that, I don't regret anything. I loved it. I learned so much. It taught me a lot of stuff in life. It taught me hard work. It taught me dedication. It taught me the strength of your mind. So much shit. And then the relationships I built over the times. Like, I have friends all around the world. It's cool. Like, I could go so many places and just hit them up, and I have someone.
Yeah.
You know?
That's invaluable.
Yeah.
And I asked that not because you had a hell of a career, man. That's awesome. So to anyone who's listening to this that might be thinking about getting into fighting, no matter what type it is, what would you tell them just starting out? Like, what's that beginner's advice you would give?
Do your best plus more. Don't give up, because one step is one step, and for progression you have to go one step at a time. So just keep going, man. If you have the passion for it, just keep going. Because I wasn't a superstar. I wasn't the greatest athlete. But I never gave up. I never fucking gave up, no matter what. So, I mean, I have a lot of losses on my record, but that's because I didn't give a fuck if I was winning or losing. I just wanted to fight, and that was it, you know?
You had a genuine passion for that.
Yeah, I had a passion, dude. I'm not trying to pad my record and get 20 wins and then go in and get destroyed by someone that's really a fucking fighter. I was a real fighter, you know? So I just fought to fight.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, this has been great. Hearing your story is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
This was awesome, and you're welcome back any fucking time.
Man, I got so much to talk about. We just talk about a little bit right now. So.
Well, this was awesome, dude. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
And thank you everyone for listening and watching as usual. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Later.